Portable TV. Come watch with me.
The Israeli government is now warning its citizens to avoid traveling to Gulf states, citing security concerns over potential Iranian attacks. This as Israel plans to open an official embassy in Bahrain. RT's John Huddy joins us now with the latest on this story. Now, John, when is this newest Israeli embassy slated to open?
Well, Israeli Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi says that he plans to visit Bahrain soon, as Israeli officials have already been there this week for ongoing diplomatic talks, with the Israeli embassy expected to open possibly by the end of December. That's the time frame right now. So it's kind of a rolling time frame, but really they're looking to get this up and going by the end of December. This, as Israel is warning, you mentioned this in the intro, is warning its citizens to avoid travel to Gulf states over potential terror attacks as tensions continue with Iran. Now, Israel's National Security Council, in a public statement, warned that Israelis visiting countries neighboring Iran could be targets for terrorist attacks, with Iran and Iranian proxies targeting Israeli destinations. So among the countries close to Iran that could be targeted, they include Georgia, Azerbaijan, the Kurdistan region of northern Iraq, Kurdistan area, Erbil, some of the cities there, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain, both of which, of course, recently established diplomatic relations with Israel and are now allowing Israelis into those respective countries. Other Middle East countries and parts of Africa are also listed as part of this travel warning from Israel's NSC, though more broadly, really as potential areas of target. Still, Israel's NSC also warned that jihadist organizations outside of Iran, including the Islamic State, are, quote, showing a high motivation to commit terrorism attacks, possibly targeting Jewish communities, synagogues, kosher restaurants, Jewish museums, and really anything linked to or associated with Israel, not only in the Middle East, but really worldwide. All of this after, now a week ago, Iran's top nuclear scientist was killed in an attack on his convoy outside of Tehran. Iran has blamed Israel for the attack. We mentioned in my reporting this week that also a U.S. official in the Trump administration, is pointing fingers at Israel as well. Iran has vowed a response, though when, how, and where remains, among the questions. And of course, Israel isn't taking responsibility for that, not surprisingly. There's been speculation about the U.S. or Israel or both possibly attacking Iranian nuclear sites in the waning days and weeks of the Trump administration, and adding to the rumors of possible war with and or attacks on Iran. Just 5 days before the attack on that convoy carrying Iran's top nuclear scientist, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu flew to Saudi Arabia and met with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, along with other U.S. officials, including Mike Pompeo, fueling speculation perhaps an attack was imminent, or that Saudi Arabia was next in line to formally announce diplomatic relations with Israel, or really all of the above. And finally, speaking of Israel and elections, well, Israel now could be moving towards a fourth election, yes, a fourth election in just 2 years, possibly this spring or summer, raising then the question if possibly Prime Minister Netanyahu, this is something being floated and speculated about in the Israeli and Hebrew media, if Prime Minister Netanyahu may be looking to finally take out Iran's nuclear facilities and various sites before he perhaps leaves office. So a big question mark there on a lot of moving parts in this story, and we'll continue to stay on top of it. Rachel, back to you.
RT's John Huddy, thank you.